You're going to see a side of America's bitter immigration debate you almost never get to see. We all know about Donald Trump's plan to build a wall and President Obama's stinging setback in the Supreme Court for his plan to offer legal status to millions of undocumented immigrants. But what is largely out of view is the human drama and sheer danger of the journey so many people are attempting to make.
Yes, but it's rare. In this region, primarily what we have seen go through the court process, the federal court process, are cases involving drug cases, alien smuggling cases, but at times there's certain victims that are trying to enter this country and they're targeted by either players in the drug trade or alien smuggling. And so they're either promised that something good is going to happen in the United States if they participate in criminal activity. You know, some of these victims that end up being actually convicted of a crime, what they share is that these individuals who bring them into these drug activities or alien smuggling activities, that, you know, they're told that if they don't if they don't cross a drug load, or if they don't cross with, you know, a group of people to assist in alien smuggling, etc., that either their family members are going to be hurt or they themselves are going to be hurt. And so many of times I've seen that they're victimized, and unfortunately, you know, they're trying to enter this country just to, you know, to seek employment, and then they end up being convicted of a crime that they didn't want to do. As far as prosecuting, I don't think it's been difficult. Those that come through, either through trial that I've seen, they're convicted. Sentencing of these type of offenders or this type of crime can be difficult because we have limited information. Sometimes it's information that's gathered when the case originated in Mexico, right? And sometimes it's not corroborated. And so the federal courts want corroborated information to sentence an offender, even dealing with migrants, and even if those migrants, you know, ended up doing bad things as a result. So to assess punishment for an offender like that can be very, very difficult. Drug organizations realize that if they get involved with alien smuggling, then the loss is not as severe as losing drugs. You lose drugs, you're losing money. If you lose a person, the person's already paid you. See? So drugs have to come across the country in order for the buyer, right, to pay you. But people who are entering this country illegally, migrants, have to pay a good percentage, if not all, and they have to run the risk of not getting caught. They have combined their efforts. We know that for a fact in the cases that we are now seeing. And it's only going to grow. In fact, on one occasion, I was involved in a case dealing with a very well-known worldwide alien smuggler, a female, who somehow, you know, dropped her guard, and she got arrested here and prosecuted here in El Paso. And the prosecution couldn't believe that they had landed such a person, right? Somebody who was a worldwide phenomena, right? A female smuggler. And throughout interviews and so forth, it was learned that, you know, she was involved with drug organizations as well. So it's all about the mighty dollar. It's just plain being vulnerable. And so when you're entering a country and you know that you're running a risk of getting caught, then, you know, these individuals out there that are targeting, you know, even kidnapping migrants, they know that, you know, who are they going to run to? Who are they going to believe? And especially if it's in Mexico, it's unfortunate, it does happen. I mean, that's probably the biggest obstacle for migrants coming into this country, is what occurs before they enter the United States. I think Most recently, there was a case maybe 6 months ago or so involving a female who was trying to enter illegally, and then she was detained by Border Patrol. She had been assaulted brutally, and she told Border Patrol what had happened, that she had been sexually assaulted, but it all occurred coming into the country on the Mexican side. And so Border Patrol, ended up taking her to the hospital here. They confirmed that, that there was an assault and so forth. But again, who do you prosecute? Does the government have the responsibility, the American government, to do something about what happened in another country? And these are the problems that we have, that federal law enforcement has their hands tied sometimes. I think, if you ask me from my personal opinion, there may be an increase. We're going through changes in how we approach immigration, right? We don't know yet what may happen, but there's fear. There's fear, around the globe, specifically in Mexico, that a wall may be built, or that they're going to strengthen the border more, and they're going to bring more Border Patrol agents, or Homeland Security is going to be heightened, etc. So it does not only impact us, it impacts other countries like Mexico. You secure the border more, it becomes more problematic to come in. They will try to come in, and I think criminal organizations will capitalize on that, and unfortunately, I think there's going to be an increase in potential kidnappings. Well, maybe our government has to start having this conversation, period, right? I mean, right now the talk is about keeping people from coming in, but you rarely hear about what happens to people trying to come in. And so until we start having that conversation, which I don't know if it'll happen, then not much will be done. Right now, I'm not sure if we're gonna maintain a relationship with Mexico to a certain level where we can have those conversations. We're gonna go through some changes here about what's gonna happen with the border, and it may not be, amenable for both countries to talk about, what happens to migrants. And now it's not pro-migrant, it's anti. And so they're going to use that, perhaps, maybe the government will use that as, well, you shouldn't be here. If you weren't coming in, then this wouldn't happen to you. So they may use that as an opportunity to deter them.